So it's come to my attention that life is getting in the way of my silly little crafts, okay? And we cannot be doing that. I come home from work saying I'm too tired to do anything but rot, but then even on my days off, I make excuses on why I can't be creating. But maybe I've been needing so much time to rest and recuperate from my daily life because my hobbies are so sidelined. And my hobbies are literally what I care about. I work to pay for my hobbies and to live, I guess. But it feels like all my obligations and my phone addiction overshadows all the stuff I actually want to be doing. Hey squad, it's Shae. I started this experiment on a random Friday because the last thing I needed was to let myself put it off. One thing I could say is, oh, I'll wait till the beginning of the week. But then that could become waiting for a whole new month or waiting for a whole new year. But no, guys, I'm really logged in. I had no guidelines for myself. I just needed to be creative. Photo collages, sketchbook silliness, digital art, henna practice, whatever I wanted was on the table. So let's do it. This was the start of it all. I was off work and that meant I had some time to figure out a couple logistical things I'd been putting off. I really needed to figure out a way to set up my camera where you could actually see what was going on. That's definitely still a work in progress though, unfortunately. I had just gotten back from getting some lunch when I knew I needed to draw right now because a food coma was about to hit me. I was feeling kind of uninspired this day, but that was part of what prompted me to commit to this experiment because I could easily use that as an excuse to just not draw at all, but I needed to get something on the page. I started really slow, and I was still very aware at this point of the camera watching me, and I think that was kind of daunting. So in that way, I decided to pick a page I'd already began. I thought that'd be a little bit less scary than a blank page for me to start. So I dove right in with a pen, just throwing some sketches on the page. I don't really have much to say about any of them, to be honest. But I mean, that's something. Put some stickers on there too. And then the next thing I drew was this very stylized plant girl, which I accidentally didn't record. And guys, again, I'm a noob. Come on, leave me alone. But I plopped her on this previous sketchbook page. I made this paper coil thing to make a really 3D effect. But also that night, right before I went to sleep, I got on my phone and sketched this out with my finger. This will go somewhere later. So keep an eye on this masterpiece because it's gonna pop up. I always work on both the weekend days, and this was no exception. I work early shifts too, so I had to be clocked in by 4 a.m. today. Maybe you guys can try to guess what job I have. That could be fun. But later in the day, I also had an appointment scheduled at 2:45. It was a gynecology appointment, so try to contain your jealousy. I know everyone notoriously loves those. But all that to say, I wanted to keep things simple on day 2. I just picked up this gray marker to use as a very simple sketch layer, and then went right in over top of it with Sharpie. I had just found these masculine figures on Pinterest and was doing my best to capture some of those basic shapes. I don't think it turned out very visually pleasing, and I didn't take it seriously enough to be considered a study or anything, but maybe it still helped me in some way, I don't know. After that point, I was gonna just let myself call it a day, but I actually reached flow state, like not to brag. I found another reference of a man on Pinterest and tried to draw him, but in a more stylized, colorful way, which is just more enjoyable for me. At the time, I was happy with this drawing. I do think he looks a little bit like a Who from Whoville, but I did have fun with it, and, I guess that's what's important. I also worked a really early shift this day, but I made plans before I was off to meet up at a cafe with some friends. So when I had gotten home from work, I just changed, gathered up my art supplies, and just made my way there. I was working on my art, and my friends were doing their thing, either with schoolwork or one was making a presentation, so that was really fun. The footage you're seeing right now, though, is a photo bash I made when I had gotten home that night. It was actually based off that beautiful sketch, if you remember that. But at the cafe, I was not able to film what I was drawing. I couldn't set up my phone in a way where you can really see the page, and then I got embarrassed and gave up. But maybe I should have at least filmed myself or something, I'm not really sure. Doesn't seem that entertaining. But either way, the drawings weren't my best work at the cafe. I have a hard time talking and drawing. At the cafe, I got this lavender ube matcha, and we chilled there for a couple hours. After that point, we decided to go get dinner, and it was at this ramen sushi place, and they had the sushi tacos. I don't know if you guys have seen that online, but I've been wanting to try one forever, and I finally got my sushi taco. After that, we actually went to a park as well. This ended up being a more all-day thing than I thought when we started to hang out, but everyone just kind of was throwing out ideas on what we could do, and ended up being really, really fun. Around where I live, it's just been crazy, rainy and muggy all summer. So this is the first day I had touched grass, literally, in a really long time. And that was a great experience. But I did that photo batching when I got home, and I did end up starting some very basic sketching just to kind of get the elements placed out, and went the hell to sleep. Today I actually worked on placing more of the elements from the photo batching in a sketch. This was really fun and relaxing, which I needed after my shift that day. Now, looking back, I don't remember what happened on Monday that made me so upset, but I came home from work in a really bad mood. So, I don't know. But maybe I'll talk about the drawings now. Before we talk about the digital drawing, I also want to point out I did go back and add some stuff to this sketch of the guy eating a burger. So, here's that. But when it comes to the digital art I'm working on, my idea was to make a fake anime intro with some of my original characters. The problem is I can't animate, and I have no intention in learning to animate. So instead, imagine this piece as a screenshot from a anime intro, okay? But this character is the point of view character from the story I'm writing. And by the way, throughout all these days, imagine I'm writing stuff for my story to various degrees. I'm just not showing that because I don't think it's probably very interesting to watch. And up until like right now, all of my writing was just placed in this ridiculously long notes app because, well, I don't know. That's just how I do things in the beginning. I'm still very much in the planning phase. But just know throughout this, I do be writing, okay? I do be writing. Anyway, this character is named Marco. I still work... My story isn't titled as of now, but I will tell you this. It's a paranormal romance story with some horror elements. Marco, again, which is the character I'm drawing, is swept up into this world he doesn't understand. There's this woman he is absolutely infatuated with to a unexplainable degree, but she is just as dangerous as she is alluring. And that's because she's a mermaid. Yeah, it's a dark mermaid romance. Hopefully you want to hear more about that at some point, but, you know, I'm trying to stay mysterious. I definitely understand the characters very well, but I'm still working out some kinks in the actual story part, so I don't want to say too much in case things change a lot. But today, all I was actually able to get to was the line art after my shift. I had it in mind that watching the digital art here would just be a lot less interesting for you guys, so I ended up pausing this drawing for the rest of the week. But, I mean, what do you guys think? Is that true? I think the problem is if we lose the traditional art, right, then you won't get to see my head bob around the screen while I draw, and, like, that's a huge loss. Yeah, I was off work today. And because there's this crazy heat wave where I'm at right now, our friends and I decided to hop to the pool. We were there a lot longer than I thought, though, and I eventually had to get home for unrelated dinner plans. Dinner plans that, by the way, involved a little $6 margarita. Chili's hit my line. But that night, when I finally did get home, I was really, really beat. Something about the sun makes my body so tired, and the dinner made me really sleepy too. And when I got home, guys, I went to bed. But just for an hour. Yeah, that's dedication. Nothing's gonna stop me. Not a gynecology appointment. Not working like everyone else has to work. And definitely not a fulfilling day off, okay? It wasn't gonna stop me. But I did not want to sit at my desk because I was feeling lazy. So that's why this crazy footage is happening on the couch. I was watching couples therapy on the TV, by the way, if anyone was curious. But I just went straight in with this ballpoint pen. I was copying Pinterest photos, and that's because my brain was not working to be creative, and I apologize. But I was able to get something on the page, and that dog looks a little bit human, but I think it's still kind of cute. Like, I don't know. I like that dog. I started drawing pretty early today and had a very specific idea in my mind of this strange robed person. I picture some kind of religious leader in some fantasy story. Yeah, I don't know. But I started out with a light colored pencil to get the shapes figured out, and then went in with that same blue pen from yesterday. After completing that pen layer, I actually was out and about again. This was a very active week for me, you guys. Typically, I don't do this much with my days off, but dang, I was feeling social. And I've got some really good friends around me that actually like to do stuff, and I'm going to take them up on it. But anyway, I went to the library with a buddy. We read a little bit, and I worked on my writing. And when I got home, I returned to this sketch and added some colored pencil. which I thought was a huge mistake, so I just stopped there. And called it a day. Holy crap, it's been a week. How do you guys think I did? I mean, for reference, I do create and draw a lot, but it is purely based on my whims. Like, I have so many dry periods just because I'm not in the mood, or other stressors take precedent. And I don't think there's anything too bad about that, but what I really was trying to stop was my inclination to reach towards my phone or to reach towards doing more mindless activities rather than creating something in my free time. One activity actively fills me up and the other just passes time. So even throughout this week, I was just reading more. Again, I've talked about it a lot now, but I was writing and I felt really good, and I'm sure I have a lot of artistic expression to thank. This last drawing was supposed to be more impressive, but I stepped away to go to the grocery store, and when I came back, I really didn't have much time before I needed to go to bed, so I couldn't dedicate that much to this last piece. But I'm going to say that was totally intentional. Just believe me, it was intentional. Because the whole point of this, for me right now, isn't even to progress in skill or to create the most beautiful things you've ever seen. It's not even about creating good things. It's about making something. The whole purpose is to make something, not make something really impressive. And yeah, this sketch is pretty mediocre. I think if you're looking at a lot of the work I made this week, it's pretty mediocre. And I'm not even saying that with a tone of judgment. I'm saying that as, a fact. It's not my best work. But you know what? I put something on the page. Maybe that's enough. I hope this was enjoyable for you guys to watch. Hopefully it makes you want to create something. I'm thinking that maybe I'll try to make this video every month. So I'll pick a random week during the month to film what I'm actually working on. But again, thank you guys for making it to the end of the video. Leave any comments about your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one. This has been Shae, and this has been Creative